it's not hard to brand yourself. It's just that I think a lot of people don't know how to go about it. So they see someone like an Oprah and they're like, oh my God, I could never, build a brand like that. But the techniques that someone like Oprah used to build her brand in the early days are very similar to what any entrepreneur or anyone in business can do to brand themselves. Things like putting together presentations on what you're an expert at and giving them at conferences or to small groups of people through lunch and learns or going into companies to talk to them. Things like writing articles and submitting them to media publications. People are always mystified, how do you write for the Financial Post? How do you write for the Huffington Post? And the answer is they're desperate for content as media companies consolidate and go through layoffs. They're looking for really great content all the time. So personal branding isn't rocket science. I think it's just that a lot of people are overwhelmed by the idea of it. They don't know exactly how it works, and it falls to the bottom of their priority list because everyone's number one priority is marketing their company, and their second priority is marketing themselves. And so my talk on personal branding is really about make it a priority. It's equally as important as branding your company, and a lot of times branding yourself ends up being the most effective way to brand your company. Yeah, I feel like people who are making an effort to build a personal brand do a couple things wrong. The first is trying to go too general. So, saying that they're going to become the next best personal finance expert in Canada. Well, Preet Banerjee is already doing a great job of that, and Gail Vaz-Oxlade is already doing a great job at that. So I think really trying to narrow in on a niche is key, and a lot of people try to be a generalist when in fact they should pick some sort of subcategory in their industry and try to own that. So for example, maybe you're the mortgage expert, or you're the ETF expert, or the index funds expert, whatever that is, pick some subcategory so that you're not trying to compete with the already established experts in your area. And the second thing I would say is picking ways to build their personal brand that don't match their personal strengths. So for example, someone will say, well, I know that I have to do speaking engagements, but I'm absolutely terrified of public speaking. Well, you don't have to do speaking engagements. You can write for publications. You can, be a judge at competitions in your industry. You can volunteer for a board. There are so many ways to build your personal brands that align with your personal strengths. So if you're absolutely terrified of getting in front of a crowd, or if you cannot write a sentence without 9 spelling and grammatical errors and writing is really hard for you, don't choose those things that align with those skills. Choose things that fit with your natural skill set.